this is Basis 54, and we're targeted individuals, talking targeted individuals, and we got an individual, a guy called Aaron, and he's from Australia. And the important thing is, tell us who you are and what's your backstory, Aaron.
Okay, my name's Aaron Crawford. I'm 36 years old. I live in Perth, Western Australia. I'm a former pro athlete, and I'm running a natural supplement and therapies company, which I've run since 2013. I'm a targeted individual. I've been involved in the secret space program, and I'm what I don't like the term, but I'm what's called a super soldier as well.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes the term, but if you want to try and describe it to somebody, what the hell, how the hell do you describe it? So for the purposes of this, you are a super soldier, and we all have the caveats in that. We don't really like the term. So tell us your backstory. Where did it all begin?
Well, I guess I started, it started for me as a child, probably getting bouts of sleep paralysis, what I thought was, what people call sleep paralysis, which initially I always thought was some type of demonic attack, but I actually now believe that it is when it's my labs when they're manipulating time and taking me out and using me since I was 4 years old, basically. I've got memories of the MK Ultra kind of trauma and abuse from as long as I can remember. So basically that's where it started. And I guess I've always kind of been targeted throughout my life. But more recently, the targeting has involved my natural supplements company, which I was running successfully for 4 or 5 years, with some issues with my bank accounts or my company accounts, with some evidence that's been placed in my accounts, which is not mine. It looks like high-level money laundering transactions, and there's about 72 pages worth of trillions and trillions of dollars of foreign currency being exchanged. That's where it basically led up to recently. But it depends on which part, whether you want to delve into my early life or
I think if we deal with your early life, because you've sort of said I've got some sleep paralysis, and then you've immediately equated that with secret space program, MyLabs, and MK Ultra programs. Why on earth should that suddenly, you have a bit of cramp when you're sleeping or something? Why do you subtly equate that to secret space programs? So really, I think we need to go right back down to age 4 and take it from there.
Yeah, okay. Basically, it's what I identify with possibly time being manipulated now, because when I experience the paralysis, sometimes I get visions or memories of spacecraft, or being off-world. But also a lot of the time I see or have what people call shadow people enter the room. It also accompanies with the feelings and sounds of trauma or abuse, and torture as well. But I used to think it was some type of a demonic attack or spiritual attack when it would happen. But now I honestly believe that the shadow people are the people that are coming in to take me, out of the room or what have you, and then kind of it's almost causing a glitch in time, and that's what I'm experiencing with the paralysis. And there's obviously some bleed through memories of the abuse, and sometimes there's visions of things to do with the secret space program and craft and being off world or being in super soldier missions. But I have had my Skynet files pulled, and I've been definitely used in a lot of programs. So is my fiance, and I've been used by Darkfleet in the secret space program. And that was because apparently in a previous life I was a Nazi or SS soldier in the Second World War, and when Darkfleet are looking to recruit people for their programs, they look for the same souls incarnate in the next life, and people with similar genetics as well to use in their programs. But I've done 2 20 and backs is in my file, or one longer than 20 and back, and then a second 20 and back by Darkfleet, and some of the projects I've been used in this Project Superman. Project Delphi is one of the main ones that I've been used in. I don't know what else to
well, that's a heck of a lot. That's a heck of a lot. I mean, you've used almost every term in the book. I mean, let's get back to these shadow people and things. Let's try and drill back down to really where it all started. What do you call sleep paralysis, and what do you call shadow people?
Well, basically, sleep paralysis for me is when, what they call sleep paralysis is when I'll get an electrical feeling up the back of my neck, and I'll know that it's going to happen, and then I'll be frozen where I can't move, but I'm not asleep. I'm completely awake, but I can't move my body, and if my eyes are open, I'll a lot of times see shadow beings enter the room and be moving while I'm frozen. But the paralysis is where you can't yell out to anyone, you can't kind of move, but you're fully aware and fully awake, but your body is frozen, so to speak. But the feelings that you get with it is definitely not just a paralysis, because prior to it happening, you get, you basically, your senses and everything kind of really, your goosebumps start going before it happens. And I don't know whether that's because your intuition is picking up on something happening or about to happen, or whether it's technology that they use. Maybe there's something to do with electromagnetic fields that they're using, which basically puts that kind of hairs on the back of your neck standing up prior to it happening. During the paralysis, whether it lasts for 15, 20 seconds or however long, a lot of the times I'll have memories or feelings of MK Ultra type abuse, and other times it'll be accompanied by visions of anything from craft to being off-world to a whole range of things.
Okay.
Really.
What do you, when you say shadow people, are you just simply saying badly lit solid people that you just can't quite see, or are you dealing with some other kind of shadow entity? What is it? Something like, can you describe the blackness really? What does that?
It's like silhouettes, like a silhouette, like a shadow being that, in the shape of a humanoid, bipedal, but a silhouette. I mean,
is it a very fine shadow edge, or is any other features or details there at all? Any sort of eyes? Are they humanoid? Or,
Yeah, no features, no eyes, no anything like that. Like completely blacked out silhouette beings. They vary in shapes and sizes, but mainly humanoid. And
what do you mean mainly?
Mainly, well, most of the time. They are humanoid silhouettes, bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs. Yeah, like the same shape as a human being.
And what sort of other non-humanoid shapes are they? What sort of height are they? Any details at all? Any sort of idea of clothing or anything on them at all?
No. Can't make out clothing. Sometimes the silhouettes seem like they've got an abdomen, but then their appendages are like sticks or claws, so quite skinny, almost like a mantis, like a mantis's arms, and that kind of shape.
So when did you meet a mantis that you would know what the arms are like?
Well, I've been used by the mantis beings as a super soldier. I've been used in contracts by them, but they've actually turned up in my house at one point where I didn't run into them face to face, but in my mind's eye, I was awoken, and I could feel that they were in my house and could hear the clicking, the way they communicate.
That's important. How does that sound?
I couldn't. I couldn't reproduce that for you, I don't think, but it was definitely like clicking noise.
Any squeaks or pips that come with that?
Not that I heard. No.
And when you said they're communicating, I mean, were there more than one, or is it anything like what Simon Parkes has talked about? That kind of anything like that? I mean, how does these things look?
Well, I believe there was more than one in my house at the time. Definitely that's what I saw in my mind's eye, and again, that was directly after a sleep paralysis incident. And then I kind of like when I kind of came out of it, I all my senses were up, and I could tell that there was something in the house, and in my mind's eye, I just knew that it was the mantis beings, and I could hear them communicating with each other, which I have heard before a couple of times when one time when I was out walking at an oval during the night with a mate of mine, we both heard kind of the clicking, communicating. And
I mean, is it like a swishing sort of clicking or what?
More of a
yeah,
like that kind of click.
And you said contracts. You've been on some kind of contract, and could you explain the term off-world? What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I've got memories of being places that I haven't been in this reality, I don't believe, but these places they're definitely not Earth. So I definitely have had what feels like memories of being places that definitely don't feel like Earth. And one confirmation for me is a guy, an American fella that's just recently done an interview with James Rink. We were talking to each other, and he's a super soldier as well. And we actually, the place that I remember being, and I described, which is almost like a city, rolling hills with a city which had lots and lots of white skyscrapers that didn't have square edges. The edges to the buildings were rounded, and he kind of looking over a metropolis, and then we're obviously out in the suburbs. There's lots of like white little dwellings or houses, which obviously were the suburbs. And he has been to the same place, basically. As I was describing it, he was describing it back to me as well. And
I mean, what do you mean by suburbs? It's like a city? Are there infrastructure, square roads, or like in America, or electricity pylons, traffic lights, transport? What do you mean like that?
So I was kind of where I was standing. I was looking at a road that kind of like went down one of the rolling hills, but either side was just huge white skyscrapers. But then because I was on top, the peak of one of the rolling hills, like I could look out across like the metropolis, and like a distance away from where I was, to one side, you could see lots of little, like one-story small dwellings, like what would I assume are houses for people. But that was kind of down a hill, like you're looking across, like, you know, it felt like a modern, a futuristic Korea, like the South Korea kind of thing. But I've never been to Korea, but that's just the.
Did you see other people, any kind of other vehicle transport, or notices, signs, any infrastructure, trees? What was the sky like?
It was void of trees. It was the sky was kind of between a blue to a slight purplish colour. I didn't see any signage. I knew I just walked outside of a hotel, so there was a hotel behind me. I knew that much. But yeah, I didn't see any transport at the time.
What about evidence of roads or?
There's a road. I was standing, looking down a road like that, kind of like went down a rolling hill and then off into the distance, kind of, and there was skyscrapers down one side and on the other side, on both sides. And then, but if I looked off to my right, you could see through a gap in like where there was another road, and you could see down the crest of a hill. There was lots of houses and dwellings, like what I assume would be the suburbs, but I didn't see any other people. I didn't see any modes of transport or anything like that.
What sort of houses? Did they have what type of roofs? I'm trying to build up some kind of visual look on this. Was it? Did it rain? Did they were protecting against sort of weather, or like in Norway, you got different roofs in cities? Anything like that? Any colours? Anything like that?
Look, everything was white. They were all white. So the skyscrapers were white, and these what I assume the houses were white. They didn't have peaked roofs, but everything, the edges were curved or rounded. There was no square edges, and these houses looked one story, and they looked like they had rounded edges, and they the way they were. Because they were a fair distance away, but they looked like the way they were structured was so if there was any precipitation, that it would automatically roll off one side. So the house roofs weren't kind of flat. But yeah, one thing I did notice, that there's no squared edges anywhere that I looked. The whole city, and the whole city was predominantly white decor.
Have you seen some of the more modern modifications to older skyscrapers? They put these sort of sloping, curved roofs, almost like on them. Anything like that?
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, it looked ultra modern, like that. Yeah, with the curved edges and like what I assume would be more futuristic than what we've got.
And how many stories? What sort of height?
Skyscrapers. Very tall. Like, plenty of height. I don't know what to compare it to.
China, accommodation zones in London. They don't call them houses in London. They call them accommodation zones, human habitation zones.
Yeah, probably equivalent to China. Hong Kong skyscrapers. Yeah. And
you saw no other beings, nothing else.
No, that's it. Yeah, that was the interesting part. Like, not that I can remember off the top of my head. It was a short memory.
And who was with you?
I believe my current fiance, who's also been used in the same programs as me. That's how we know each other, and kind of hit it off when we first met each other in this reality, is because we've been used by Dark Fleet in a lot of missions.
And what sort of clothing did you have? Do you have any kind of weapons or any other tools or any kind of anything with you that showed you had some kind of dress?
I didn't kind of look at my it's one thing I don't do in dreams or anything. I don't look at myself or whatever I'm wearing. So I can't give you any information on
So
that.
what was your mission? What happened? Did you have an activity, or what happened?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the mission was, but I do have another memory of creeping around the side of an apartment block, and I definitely had someone communicating to me in my ear, telling me what to do, where to go, and I don't know what the actual mission was, but that was another brief memory from the same world.
Does some kind of an event happen immediately before the sort of memory, and what happens afterwards? There's are these flashbacks that you're seeing?
Yeah, like a lot of the time it actually happens during a sleep paralysis episode. So I'll get frozen and won't be able to move, and I'll still be awake and aware, but not unable to move my body. But then I'll get like a vision during that paralysis, which is like a flashback. Like, yeah.
Are there any physical injuries that you would have, or something that you feel hurt, or is there any marks that you have on your body afterwards or during that?
No, not that I've noticed. It's but I mean, I haven't had a memory where I've been like hurt or injured or in combat or anything like that. So I'm not sure. I mean.
So you weren't scaling tall buildings like a super soldier or a comic book action hero, along with your partner, with you, whatever.
Yeah, no, we time travel. We Kruger runners, so we can run at supersonic speeds, and I have had memories of doing that.
Were you running to something, or from something, or away from something? Were you scared, or happy? Because you smiled there a bit.
No, just running to something, I think. But as I said, I get very short memories. I'm only starting just to recall a lot more stuff now that I'm doing a lot more like integrative meditation work. So it's bringing back a lot of memories. Incidentally, a recent full recall that I had was we were gearing up for a mission, and for some reason it was at my local primary school, and I was standing face to face with Brock Lesnar, the UFC and WWE athlete. So they're definitely using Brock in programs as a super soldier as well. But incidentally enough, that the classroom that we're standing outside of, in this reality, when I first got to the primary school, it was like year one. I'm pretty sure it was year one. We had a group of people from an outside entity come to the school and put headphones on all the kids in the class. And what we had to do was we'd hear different tones, different sounds, and we would have to guess what musical note that each tone was. But we had no prior knowledge of music because we just basically got to the school and we hadn't even started music class yet. And it occurred to me down the track that they were probably testing us for our intuitive, empathic abilities. But I was picked out of the school. There was only 3 kids picked out. And for some reason, this meant you got to do the instrument trumpet for an hour after school, separate from the general music class. And I just didn't. I was playing a lot of sport and that after school, and I didn't really want to do trumpet. But so I ended up quitting, and they really kind of hammered me about no, you want to continue on and doing this and rah rah rah. And it occurred to me later that if you're going to be used off planet, probably lung capacity is something that they would want to build into you pretty early. So I thought that's why we may have been selected out of this one-time only test that came to the school, and we got to do trumpet for an hour after no choice in instrument.
What age were you when you had that experience with the trumpet?
Year one, so first year of primary school. So I believe you're 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, I mean, so did they have a very good music class, and was just one of these things you wanted to see what your talent was?
Well, music class was separate. Like music was during school hours,
Yeah.
and everyone participated in that. So that's what I didn't understand even, at that age, is why, we didn't get a choice. We got given a trumpet, and we had to do trumpet for an hour after school extra on top of everything else. But the way we were selected for it was basically they came and put a headset on everyone in the class, and these people were, not our teachers or anything. They were from outside of the school, was a third party, and we had to hear tones like beep, boop, and kind of each tone we had to guess whether it was an A or an E but we had no prior knowledge of music whatsoever. So.
And were there reactions? Was there results? Did other people have were they selected for doing things? Did this develop into a different class later on at school?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I quit pretty early because I hated trumpet, but there was only 3 kids picked anyway out of the school, and I don't know what happened to the other 2, or whether it went on to anything. I definitely didn't see.
Did they stay in the school? Did they disappear? Did they? So that was that. They were taken to a different class or anything at all?
Well, they were definitely still at the primary school right through to year 7. But what actually happened with their class after school and how it progressed, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't remember seeing them playing trumpet recitals at assembly or anything like that. So I don't know what transpired out of it all. But yeah, funnily enough, the full recall memory I had just recently was I was standing eye to eye with Brock Lesnar. I think there was about a group of 5 of us gearing up to do some type of mission. But yeah, it was in a kind of mucking around type manner. Was eye to eye with him, staring each other off. Yeah, which he's incidentally one of my favourite athletes.
So I mean that was an enjoyable experience. It wasn't anything that was traumatic.
No, definitely not.
So what were your next sort of experiences? That I mean, you had normal education, normal teachers.
Yeah.
Nothing strange. Did you? What sort of subjects did you excel in? What was your best subjects? What were your worst subjects?
My best subject was English. Funnily enough, in year 7, we learnt German for a year, which I really picked up really, really well, really quickly. And the German teacher was really, really impressed with how quickly I picked it up and how good I was at it. English was my best subject, I think. Obviously,
what were you? What was it within that subject? What type of books were you asked to read? Can you remember any of them?
In English,
yeah.
Lord of the Flies, I think. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. I don't know how I never used to. I was a really slow reader, so I don't know how I actually got good grades in English because I never used to finish the book.
Are you dyslexic?
Maybe retarded. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure if I'm dyslexic. I don't think I'm dyslexic.
Any particular books that you were asked to bring home, or anything, or what was your English literature like, or did you do? What type of English did you do? English language, English literature, or what? Any subjects in there?
Well, I was pretty good at creative writing. At various stages, early on we did poetry, different things like that. But mainly writing essays or reports and stuff like that. I was pretty good at. I struggled with mathematics. I was never good with mathematics. Obviously. when I got into high school, I was doing some of the computer subjects, like just basic business information technology and things like that. I didn't do TEE subjects in year 12, so I wasn't.
What's TEE? What's
they're the subjects that you need to do to go to university, to qualify for university, to get a TEE score, it's called for us, tertiary entrance exams and stuff is what I believe it stands for. In the eastern states, it's HSC or something different. But I did just the basic English, basic mathematics and stuff. What I needed to do to pass year 12. And get out of there.
And where were your focus? What was your focus? What did you want to do at that time?
I wanted to play first-class cricket for WA.
And did you play first-class cricket?
Yes, I did. I was in the state squad from about the age of 19. I was in the state juniors as well.
And you're good at your eye-to-hand coordination is good for ball. Collecting the ball.
Yep. Hand-eye coordination was good, and I had a lot of. I don't know if this is part of anything to do with being used in 20 and back or whatever, but I was always lots and lots of injuries, stress-related bone injuries, so overuse injuries. Even though I wasn't really that overused, basically, because I was always injured from late teens, early 20s, right through my career, basically.
What's your sort of physique? What sort of weight are you? Are you? I mean, you look like a pretty fit guy. I mean, but at that time, relative to your age, what about your bone density, breakages? Why were you getting these injuries? Did you play any other sports like rugby or whatever? Any physical games?
I played AFL football up until
that's Aussie rules.
Aussie rules until I was.
That's a pretty aggressive. That's a pretty aggressive game for people who don't know outside Australia and Ireland. You're not messing about playing not namby-pamby soccer here.
Yeah, no, but I played that till about under 15s, and then because I was getting bullied at school, I quit and went and learnt Burmese kickboxing. Learned how to defend myself.
Why were you bullied? What happened? For what circumstances? What made you different that you were singled out for bullying?
I've always questioned that one, mate. I've always kind of, not fit in or not been in the clique. I definitely, I mean, my nickname was Rowdy because I never used to say anything. So I don't know why I was picked on by the cool kids or whatever. I mean, I was 69 kilos and had horrific cystic acne. So I was probably a bit of a target, easy target. I mean, I kind of was even getting bullied at my cricket clubs, and that even lasted into my early 20s, where I was really, on the wrong side of politics for no particular reason. I was just that. I don't know.
Okay, what politics did you have to deal with, and why were you different? What got you on the wrong side of that?
I'm not sure what got me on the wrong side of it. I wish I knew. It was always one of those things where, and I'm a pretty self-aware person. Like I don't carry on like an arse clown or anything like that. But that's one of the things, like with pro cricket, especially, is it's very political, and there's careers are made and broken on whether guys are in the circle or not, and it can, it depends, which, who the selectors are this season and who the coach is this season, and then next season it might be different, and that means there's a whole different group of guys are getting more favoured. I mean, like if as at Western Australia, if we had been walking out with our best 11 players every time we played, I reckon we would have been right up there winning a lot of shields, but it just wasn't the case. We were always carrying guys that weren't playing well or, weren't good enough to play at that level, but were being carried or, were just favourites. And as a result, some guys got to underachieve time and time again, and there was no pressure put on them because they were never dropped, and to work on their skills, to get back into the side. For me, why I was on the wrong side of politics, it was just, I don't know, I'd put it down to being a targeted individual, to be honest. I was sacked and had to regain my contract a couple of times.
What led to that? What do you mean by sacked?
Delisted off because as a contracted player. And it's once when
explain the infrastructure of the sport that you're dealing with, so that people can understand professional, amateur. I mean, in this country, we relatively recently, or maybe 20 years ago, had professional rugby, and then that affected the game and the whole focus in the junior clubs and the sort of amateur clubs. So how did that work out in Australia?
So first class cricket or state cricket is equivalent probably to county cricket over there, but it's a little bit different. So the Australian team is the top 25 contracted players in the country, and then each state is allowed to contract 25 players to retain, and they're paid contracted players with a player pool of money that comes down from Cricket Australia. So I was contracted to WA as a contracted player. Each season, a state will contract its first 12 required players, and then they kind of, it's open to negotiations, and guys kind of can go from state to state based on if they're offered a better deal or what have you. After my 2008-2009 season, which is probably my best Shield season, I was delisted by WA, and Victoria actually rang me up and said, "We can't believe you've been left off the list." And I said, "I can." And they said, "Do you want to come play for us?" And I said, "Yeah, no worries, done deal." And off I went and moved over to Victoria.
Wow, that's quite a move. And I mean, why were you delisted? You just weren't fit enough, got injuries, or what? Or just other places people were better, or what?
I did have a couple of injuries that year, but I played 6 out of the 10 Shield games. Like that alone should have got me recontracted. The previous season I was contracted in WA's first 12. So, it was just like I fell out of favour for whatever reason. I'm not really sure.
Do you think there was any other reason for that other than just other people were better and it's just the way that the cookie crumbles at that time?
Just WA never looked after me, really. They never kind of, they never looked after me like they looked after other guys. I always had to work harder and to get picked, and had to really outperform other players to get selected. And when it came to contracting, they only ever gave me 1-year deals. Even at one stage when I was the best bowler in the country statistically, in the second 11 competition the previous season, I still got signed on for a 1-year deal at minimum money. So, which if I had not been contracted in the first 12 and heard from the other states, I probably would have been offered a lot more and more years security on my contract.
I mean, that's something that's it. So where do we go from here? What other subjects were you doing, and where was that leading you? Where was this secret space program thing happening? I mean, what's involved there?
Well, I wasn't really aware of it at that point in time. I mean, through that period of time, there was definitely a lot of the sleep paralysis. There was, it had all the attributes of a victim of abuse. I was very angry at the world, and I had struggled with a lot of nightmares and vivid.
What sort of
nightmares.
what sort of nightmares? What sort of things are you talking about here? Why? What is leading you to say this? What was the strange thing involved, if there was anything?
Well, there was no reason. There was no real reason for it to be happening. Like, I had a good upbringing, and there's no traumatic experiences in this reality. That's what now. Like, looking back on it all, I can definitely see. Putting things together as it being all the memories of abuse and stuff that I have is definitely I believe MK Ultra in nature. And
what sort of abuse and when did it happen? What, if you want to go into that? And I'll be asking questions to find out what happened. You don't have to answer them if it's going to cause you further pain. Is that okay?
I'm all good with it.
Okay.
There's memories of torture type abuse, sexual trauma, basically torture and sexual trauma, which that. I've got memories. I've got memories of that for as far as I can remember.
And who was carrying out that abuse?
I don't know. I've got no visual. It's like I've been blank slated. Like they talk about the technology that they blank slate people, or even that's a result of the MK Ultra, the trauma-based mind control. Is that the people that are doing it kind of put you in that much trauma that the mind compartmentalizes it and doesn't remember.
Now, is that something that you've read? Is that something that's something you've decided to pick up on, or what? Why is that? Why do you come up with these terms, MK Ultra and all this? Have you read books about it? Is this something you've been told?
Yeah.
I mean, with your book, with your interview with James Rink, explain all that.
Well, it's something that I've kind of looked into more recently. Actually, it comes from watching Max Spears on the Basis Project over the last few years while he was still around, and listening to him as well. I've then looked into documentaries and stuff like that, and just the fact that I think it is a lot more prevalent and being used a lot more than what people realise in terms of MyLab's situations and a lot of the population. But it's something that I've read up on and studied extensively more recently.
What about your family? I mean, there's been horrendous scandals about children brought from the UK during the war, the Second World War, and abuse in a lot of these homes and things. Is there any kind of institutional child abuse that you are aware of in your family? And if there is, you don't have to tell me about it and on any level, but just letting you know that are you part of any other military or institutional connection there?
Well, both my grandfathers on my granddad on my dad's side, and also my granddad on my mum's side, were both in the military. My granddad on my father's side, he served in North Africa in World War II and was awarded a gold bar for defeating Rommel at El Alamein. My mum's dad, was Air Force intelligence his whole his whole career. But he actually was an orphan from the UK that got sent out to Australia and went through one of these Christian Brothers schools, which were the abuse there was horrific. And we didn't know until after his passing that he was in therapy for some of the abuse that he had experienced. But as for me, when I was younger, my parents were low income earners, and we spent a lot of our holidays and after school in care and holiday programs. So, whether some of these memories are from these types of places, which this is long before there was working with children checks and this kind of stuff. So these types of places would have been rife with predators, etc.
But did that happen to you?
Well, I've got the memories of it, yeah.
And it's not good?
No.
Do you want to say anything more on that? I mean, do anything more, if it helps you and it helps others?
Well, I guess I'm enlightened enough to know that it's nothing that I did wrong, or I was obviously overpowered at an age where so it's not really anything. I mean, there's nothing I could do about it, is there really? So.
No, that's very important, because a lot of these develops into psychosis where you feel it's something you have done wrong, but it's good that you're saying what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, like, when I do kind of speak to other victims and stuff like that, I actually pump them up a bit, making them feel like it's it's a scar, but it's a strength. I mean, if that's happened to you when you're a child and you've gone through that and you made it up till this point, well then you're one hell of a strong character, and you should look back at that and realise how strong you are by copying the worst thing that can happen to you day one in your life, and then you got to kind of pick up the pieces after that and go on and make something of yourself. So I think full credit to any victim that is still kicking along and not letting it defeat them. But my message would be, like, definitely don't turn inward on yourself and blame yourself. It's nothing that it could be avoided when you're a young child, and it's other predators that are taking advantage of you when you're at such a delicate young age.
Have you heard of the term empowered individual? Because TI sort of is like a sort of a victim state. Have you thought of calling yourself empowered? Because you're empowered now. You're talking. You're fighting back. You're sorting the whole thing out. Have you felt it was better that way, to be an empowered individual?
Yeah. I'm nobody's victim. I don't like people that bring out the victim card, and use things as an excuse. After everything I've been through, and I'm still kind of kicking along and somewhat successful in some areas of life, and I've definitely got my complexes as well, but I definitely don't think it's something that I definitely don't think that people should see themselves as victims, but empowered is definitely the word that I'd use for it.
So speeding along, okay, you've basically left school. You've joined college, and did you do further education? What sort of subjects were there, and did you use your German?
No, I didn't use my German. Eventually I got to Germany through my company in 2015 and then 2016. But I didn't do any further education. I was straight into the state squad and kind of having a crack at pro sport. That was the main thing that it was my whole life, basically. Apart from years that I was off contract, I'd work with my dad's business and help him out to make a couple of bucks. But it was flat out, all go with pro cricket up until I was 28, kind of 29, finished with injury that I couldn't come back from, and Medico said, you're done. And then it was a bit of a tough stage there for a while, and then it was after that I kind of started my company, which
starting a company is a big deal. You need focus, you need organization skills, and all those sort of things. So how did all that happen, and where has it taken you?
I had none of those things, and I was in the worst spot financially to start a company. The only thing that I had going for me was that I had been working during the times that I was injured. I had been working in a natural supplement company and learning everything I could. I'm a self-learner, and I knew the store back to front, and then I just kept on reading, and because I was a lot of the times because I was over in Melbourne at this stage, so I didn't have the social network that I had in Perth. So there was a lot of lone time, and when I wasn't in the store, I'd be trying to increase my knowledge by reading case studies, but that's all I had in terms of pros and experience to bring into starting a company. Everyone said that I wouldn't be able to do it, and it was a bad idea, and I had no experience. And
now, what kind of company are you talking about? Why would they say you wouldn't be able to do it? Was it this wholesome food stuff, or what? What got you going on that?
It was a natural supplement company, so import and distribution. So at the time, I was financially screwed, broke, and I had to do something because it was basically out of desperation that I thought, what am I good at? I was good at supplements, selling supplements from the store that I was working in. So I was like, okay, and I thought, no, I can't have a store because there's overheads and stuff like that. So I thought I can import and distribute. So what I thought was I need to find a product that's from overseas, get the exclusive contract on it, and then in Australia, and then bring it here and sell it. It's got to be a product with a point of difference.
I mean, exclusive is a heck of a thing. And how did you get exclusivity? And was it any special substances that you need to register or whatever?
Everything that you need to do, legal requirements for import and permits and stuff, I actually learnt as I went. So the first time that I brought this product in, as I went through the process of doing the customs compliance and getting an import permit, and this product required being part of the biological imports program. So I did have to go through that process to get a permit to import it. But how did I get the exclusive contract? I basically I found this product it was made in Switzerland, and it was sitting on a 1990s looking website with spelling mistakes and everything like that. But I read up about the product, and I thought, this sounds like, if this is real, it sounds like, makes sense that it will work as well as what they're saying. And basically, because I was sending emails out to a number of companies trying to get exclusivity on their products, because basically that trying to get the exclusive contract is something that I just had to do and that was from my experience within the supplement industry in Australia. You need to have the exclusive contract, otherwise the bigger companies just basically will crush the little guy and steal the products. So you need an airtight contract, and you need to have the exclusive contract for any decent product that you bring into the country. Otherwise the bigger guys just come over the top of you and take it from you. So I was very aware of that. So that's why I was trying to get the exclusive contract. And these guys, these crazy guys from Switzerland rang me up late one night, and they started talking to me about the product. And I said, look, they said they had no plans of going to Australia. They were thinking of coming to Australia. So they said, look, we're happy for you to take it on. And they said, you just got to order 2,500 units and pay for it up front. And I was like, shit. So
that's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so it worked out to be about $40,000 US, which I scraped together. My brother and my then soon-to-be brother-in-law lent me 20,000, and I got some of my saved money from my cricket years back from my parents to basically just pay for this 2,500 units. And then when it arrived in the country, I had no marketing tools, nothing. So I was just basically, had the product stacked up in my apartment, and I basically just built it up from there. From selling it to people that I knew and friends, to eventually, it just steamrolled and got bigger and bigger because I just worked my guts out at it.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic story. So when did?
Sorry. Actually, it ended up going to the Rio Olympics as a sponsor of Germany, the German Olympic weightlifting team. So I actually ended up, sponsoring them with my product and writing their nutrition and supplement protocols. And that was the most exciting part to it. So it did actually turn into an international company, and we went worldwide pretty quickly because the product that we had was making a lot of impact on in the therapeutic world as well as in the athletic world. So I think that's what kind of drew a lot of attention on my company, because of the amount of impact it was having with a lot of different illnesses, and being a natural product that will basically get you some pretty some attention pretty quickly from pharmaceutical companies.
How did you work that out? That's a big deal. I mean, how did that run? How did they distribute? And what illnesses did you cater for?
Okay, so the first product that I brought into the country basically was designed and made. It's an amino acid. It's a 100% pre-digested protein, and it was designed for people that were undergoing cancer treatment, had AIDS or malnutrition, because this company that produces it actually gives it out in Africa as a charity. So this product absorbs straight into your bloodstream. So when your kind of body can't hold down food anymore because of chemotherapy or because of malnutrition, this absorbs straight into the bloodstream and helps the body maintain its muscle mass, which maintains the immunity, and the person therefore survives. But your body is made up of amino acids, and 22 amino acids, and they're the building blocks to every function in your body. So by replenishing these or giving these all 22 to the human body in 100% digested form, it's everything the body needs. So what you see is a lot of illnesses, ailments, and this kind of stuff clearing up and disappearing, because every organ and every muscle in your body is the same 22 amino acids. Even with the brain, there's amino acids that are critical for precursors for your brain producing serotonin and dopamine. If tryptophan and tyrosine cross the blood-brain barrier,
how did you sell that? I mean, it's a hell of a thing to success this.
Well, we just sold it as a food supplement, as a protein, as an amino acid formula, and we weren't making any therapeutic claims, so we didn't have to register it with Therapeutic Goods Administration or FDA. That's how we sold it. We mainly sold it in the fitness industry and did a lot of our marketing and promotional stuff in the fitness industry, but like on a more one-to-one at a ground level, we were recommending it and selling it to people that were going through cancer or fibromyalgia, Crohn's. It was the only amino acid that a type 1 diabetic can absorb without winding up and having a shot of insulin. So it greatly improves their quality of life because later on in life, when they go blind or are cutting off limbs, it's basically a lifetime shortage of amino acids. So, we had a great deal of success and a lot of testimonials and stuff like
And
that
where
coming back to us.
can you show any examples of that?
No, mate. Well, I could dig up some examples of that. I think the company Facebook pages are still up and online, but after everything that happened in 2017, it cost me the company, my house, my car,
So
my money.
what the hell happened? You're running. You've got a great product. It's working. It's all there. And then what happened?
Yeah, we were kicking along, doing great for 4 years or whatever, and then I had a feeling that a bookkeeper had maybe skimmed some money from my accounts. So I went to the bank and started to investigate, and I found out that there was all these corporate facilities opened in my name without me knowing, and one of these facilities was the global dealer platform, which is foreign currency exchange. And on the 25th of July 2017, I went into my global dealer account and found I've sent it to you, but there's 72 pages of foreign currency trades worth trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And my heart just sank because
why you? Were there any indications that something there wasn't right, or did you get any warning on this, or has it happened to other people?
Well, apparently it has happened to other people, but not long after I came forward with this evidence, here in Australia, all four major banks were the government called for a royal commission to investigate all four major banks that were in a lot of trouble for a lot of things that they were doing wrong. But
so this wasn't something which was unique to you as such.
Well, no. I mean, my story is unique to me, but the banks were caught laundering money for organised crime syndicates. So
it's nothing big going on there.
Yeah, but just. That's what it looks like. These transactions look like high-level money laundering. They're not mine.
The thing is, where does this connect you with a potentially impending very long-term jail sentence?
It doesn't. That's separate. That's the most recent. Basically, since I came forward with this evidence, my life has been I haven't been able to get going again without there being some type of drama.
Why is this actually happening? I mean, we've established that the government's actually taking action against this kind of fraud going on in the banks. Is this something that's blowback from that activity, and they're just going to nail you because you're an easy target, or where does the secret space program come in here?
The Royal Commission that happened, they basically do a report, and none of these guys that are in the banks go to jail or anything like that. It's basically to appease the public, but it's a big waste of time. Basically, the transactions, when I came forward with the transactions that I found, basically that's when there's been numerous attempts on my life since then. And then
now, there's some people say that there's no such thing as an attempt on your life. They either do it or, well, I mean, I've had this here, but they either do it or you just don't wake up again because they've been successful. What's the bottom in there? What's the backstory? What's happening really why this is happening at all?
Well, I think because the reference numbers at the end of each trade connect to the people that are responsible. Now,
from the point of view of the material that you've sent, what part of that material can I actually show on screen? There's a lot of numbers. Are there anything in there that would be a bad thing?
Mate, no. Show all of it.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll roll it over during what you're talking. Right.
Yeah. So basically, I think because it's sensitive information that there was attempts made on my life. So like twice I was dragged to the hospital by police or people in police uniforms. And
were they police or not?
Well, some of my arresting officers, my lawyer could not find as they don't exist. So I definitely think that I've got a friend in the Special Forces, and I described some of the pictures that were on the lapels of some of these officers, and he said they were private military contractors that were dealing with me. These guys definitely looked militant, but I wasn't dealing with the same guys all the time. So twice out of 4 times that I was dragged by the police to the hospital, twice I flatlined and actually experienced leaving my body and then coming back into it. Why? I don't know. I believe that just wasn't meant to go down like that, and I'm here to do a job which might be to expose this evidence that I've been gifted in my account. But one of the interesting things that happened was on the 22nd of December, which is when I got taken to hospital and was over-sedated and flatlined. And then the next day, my best mate picked me up, drove me home, and I spent Christmas with my roommate and my partner at the time. And I never got arrested again until January. Now, after these events were over, my wristband from the hospital said the 22nd of December. I experienced 22nd of December and 23rd. My roommate's phone confirmed that it was the 22nd of December and out on the 23rd. Whereas my best mate that drove me home and my partner, their phones and their reality was that I got taken to hospital on the 26th of December and came home on the 27th. And they could prove it because they had calls from the hospital on the 26th and 27th, but that's just not how it happened. I mean, I was in 22nd, out on the 23rd after the near-death experience, and then my best mate drove me home on the 23rd, but he swears black and blue that no, he drove me home on the 27th because I went to hospital on the 26th, and that's just not the case. But my partner at the time, her phone also confirmed that I was in hospital at 26th and the 27th. So there's 3 missing days there, or a 3-day difference where there was 2 realities experienced by various people that were there at the time, which is not something that's unexplainable.
So that's a sort of a time jump back, isn't it, or forward?
Yeah, like there's missing time. But I mean, as I said, I experienced going home on the 23rd and then spending Christmas at home with my roommate and partner, just being happy to be alive. Like I just cheated death because I think I did. And but further down the track there, my best mate swears to me, no, he came and got me on the 27th, and my partner, they showed me their phones, and the hospital had actually called on the 26th and 27th. But my wristband from the hospital and my.
Do you still have that?
Yeah, I know. I've got photos of it on a previous Facebook account. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to print those out physically. They might change.
Yeah, there was a lot of paperwork and stuff that just was changing.
Can you send those? Can you send those to me? Is it possible for me to get access to that?
Yeah, I can send them to you. I'll have to see if there's any screenshots of my mate's phone or that kind of stuff.
So what's actually happening here exactly? Is it you're now facing? Were you rearrested or different? What's happening?
Well, basically, at the time where back in 2017, when I came out with the evidence and came forward to the police and that, like, basically they started coming in and taking me either to hospital or moving me on from my own house. So essentially I became homeless at the time, and then they started arresting me for misdemeanor stuff that I hadn't done either, and eventually there was enough arrests, or I missed a court appearance, so they could remand me in prison, and they sent me to the psych prison, so a mental asylum. When I've got no history of mental illness, and I don't think I've got a mental illness now, but like, I had to wait in there for a couple of months to then get a bail hearing.
What happened in the hospital?
Lots of drugging. Yeah, they drugged me a lot.
What hospital was it, and what did they drug you with?
It was Greylands mental asylum, and they were drugging me with a combination of mood stabilizers and stuff to calm me down, apparently, and some antipsychotics.
Did you become violent? Did you fight back, or what?
I definitely, during the time when I was in fear for my life, when I was walking the streets, if I felt that I needed to put fear in people to save myself, then yes, I may have put fear in people, but I never attacked anyone. I was never. It was controlled the whole way through, but not at the hospital. No, there was no aggression from me. Anything like that, and they were pretty quick to diagnose me with bipolar disorder, which after I've been discharged from the community treatment program, and I'm off all medication because I don't think I do have bipolar, and I think the fact that I'm off the medication, I've been discharged from the treatment program, is proof that that I don't have that. I don't have a mental illness, and it was probably more to ruin my credibility.
Who were the people? What were the companies, or what were the people actually using your account? What were their businesses? And do you think that this has got any connection with the type of fraud that was allegedly going through your account? Who was doing it? What was being laundered, or what was being traded?
Well, money was being, lots of US dollars was being laundered. There was a footprint of another company that had been allowed to trade in my global dealer account, which is just that should never happen. And that was actually a pharmaceutical company from America. But the issues that I had, like with the police, were directly after like meetings with the bank about these transactions and this evidence, which I brought forward because I was worried about myself being arrested as a fall guy for.
So essentially, you brought it to the banks and authorities situation.
Attention.
So you said, "Hey, there's something going wrong here. What's happening?" And then you're getting arrested and thrown in a mental hospital.
Yeah, dragged to the hospital, and I couldn't work it out. I couldn't work out for the life of me why. I can assume that why, and it was related to the evidence that I'd found.
So bottom line, okay, but we're sort of we've run into over an hour on this. So bottom line, what's the deal here, and why has the secret space program got to do with it?
Well, that's something separate. That's information that I've been that I've got, and whether it's got anything to do or the two are related, I'm not sure.
You get missing time, things going on, being thrown in jail, being arrested. Why a mental hospital? Space programs, not time things. I mean, there seems to be a sort of an indication there may be some kind of global conspiracy here involving your account. And why were you selected?
Well, yeah, there's cabal. There's definitely cabal bank groups, and I think like I've got the evidence of them doing exactly what everyone is accusing them of doing. I have been told by one of James Rink's intuitives that it was Dark Fleet that actually has done the laundering.
Okay, right. Now this is important because James Rink, he has certain contacts which can indicate where these dark business interests operate through. Could you go a little bit more into how do you meet James Rink and what happened? And could you give a resume or basically what the conclusions were from his point of view and his contacts?
Well, he's basically, I reached out to him at the time when this was actually all unfolding back in 2017. I was aware of his program and had watched his show a little bit to a certain degree, but he put me in contact with one of his intuitives, and they confirmed to me that it was actually Dark Fleet that was responsible for most of my targeting, but also the transactions, my money being taken and used or traded on the global dealer platform to make these huge sums of money. And they were supposed to have it out of my account before I saw it, but apparently it was Dark Fleet that were using the money for certain technologies, because Dark Fleet's the most technologically advanced of the secret space programs. But that was the information that came back.
Is that operating out of Australia? There's a certain base in Australia. It's not Pine Gap, it's another one. Have you got any idea about any of that?
The one they call Area 53 is in South Australia. And there was links to South Australia because the global dealer account the way that they hid it is the Bank of South Australia is actually a subsidiary of Westpac, and I don't bank with the Bank of South Australia, but the global dealer account was placed under Bank of South Australia, which made it harder for me to find. But there is links there to South Australia, which apparently there's a base there, what they call Area 53.
Is that because the Americans got Area 51 and Area 52? Yeah. I mean, is there a real name on it? I know that there is a base, I think, in northern Australia, which nobody ever finds out about because anybody gets near it, they're dead. Is this the Pine Gap? Are you talking about the Pine Gap base?
No, Pine Gap's in the north of Australia. I'm talking about another base, which is in Woomera in South Australia.
Which is the rocket testing ground, the British, the Blue Streak missile or something?
Yeah, it used to be a nuclear testing ground or something.
And did you mention something about Skynet?
Yeah, Adrian Espinosa's pulled my Skynet files, which has given me an in-depth look at what programs I've been used in terms of super soldier programs and what's been done to me. And
do you have those files? Can you show them? And who's the person's name you mentioned?
Yes. Adrian Espinosa is another one of James's contacts, and he has he uses this Skynet software to pull people's super soldier records, and I can show them to you. So basically, he was the one that relayed a lot of the information about me being used by Dark Fleet and which super soldier programs I was used in, and the fact that Dark Fleet fractured my soul and used me in Project Delphi, which is something to do with an underworld type, esoterical type program. There's artificial intelligence being used in after they fractured my soul, and so he's given me a lot of information.
Has he published that? Is there something that he can reference or you can reference to on the internet?
He's emailed me a lot of it. I'm still halfway through the basically getting it all deciphered by him. I've still got half the reading of all the files because it is quite a substantial amount of information. But I can definitely send you through what I've got.
Yeah, well, we can go into that on a sort of a part two. Where do you think what's your actual situation? You're could be arrested or you go to jail at any time. Is that right?
Basically, what happened back in July, myself and my partner were holidaying in a country town in WA, and we were arrested and charged with a string of charges that we, are not guilty of, but they stuck us in jail, and my partner's still in jail. She can't get bail. She's been in there about 13 weeks, and I'm on bail, but they're very, very strict conditions. And
I just have to ask you: is anything we're doing now going to violate those conditions?
No.
Okay, fine. No. That's important.
Yeah, so we've got a trial coming up. My first committal hearing is on the 28th of this month.
What are the charges exactly, or do you want to say that?
Yeah, I can say them. I mean, they're in the articles that I sent you, because that was something that I was really surprised is after we got arrested and charged, they kind of put me in the media and really, give it to me, which a lot of the facts are false. But
so you've been on TV? You've been on television?
There's one newsreel, but no, basically front page news of the paper, and there's been a lot of articles since, basically, making me look like a real nasty piece of work, and that's to obviously manipulate the public opinion for the upcoming trial. So if there's 12
now that's important. Using the media means that's getting attention on you. Is that what you're intending to do? Is this something that, this is something that James Casbolt intended to do was to get publicity and end up going to jail? There's some kind of, that was a reason behind something there.
Yeah, no. Well, the publicity that they've given me is come from obviously police manipulation of the media to make me look like shit. But it's not been my effort to be in the public eye. But the reason I'm doing I've come onto your show is because I want to expose the bank evidence, because I believe that's what all of this stuff is related to. Because there was a car accident in between, or then and now, where we were basically professionally tipped out from behind and rammed into a power pole, which I kind of, I don't know if you can see that scar. Right. I was snapped clean at the humerus, and very lucky to survive that as well. And that kind of made the news as well. But it was definitely another attempt to get rid of me. And that was between, getting out of the mental asylum and facing the previous misdemeanor charges and then the current charges that we've got at the moment. So and this has all happened post December 2017 when I came out with this bank evidence, and I basically haven't had a clean run at any type of life since then. And, we've been charged with some pretty serious crimes, and I think if they have it their way, we.
What sort of crimes? Again, do you want to say that?
Yeah, I can say them. Aggravated burglary, one charge higher than grievous bodily harm, and a stealing charge, and it's the victim is someone that's not known to me or my partner, and it's like. I don't know where it's come from. YouTube.
Well, I think that this is a good opportunity to sort of end this sort of part one, and hopefully we'll have a part two. And
basically, I want to expose the bank, what the banking evidence before I do, if I do get sent to jail, and that's why if there's anyone, I'm reaching out to anyone that can has any type of idea what to do with it, where to send it, whether there's white hats somewhere, some intelligence organisation or whatever. it is what it is, and that money could be for anything like human trafficking, drug trafficking, who knows, and it should be exposed, and it's basically what the problem is with the world at the moment is the cabal banks, and this is what they do. So if I can get it out there and the more people that see it and share it, the better. And that was basically the goal of coming on the Bases project at this point.
And you're in sunny Australia, except was there some lightning there at this moment? Where it's 1:30 lunchtime in wet Wiltshire, and you're in in Ausland.
Yeah, I'm in West Australia, and it's quite pleasant here at the moment. Not too hot.
Okay.
And
hopefully things get pleasant for you, and this gets tidied up. There seems to be things happening with so-called deep state or dark state or whatever, and there seems to be quite a lot of this secret space program. I mean, you've talked about the secret space program, but have you seen any big spaceships or aliens, flying saucers?
Yeah, and I can send you some photos as well. Which I thought we were just covering the bank.
Yeah, we'll do the bank thing.
Cabal banks today, but I'll send you some photos where there's some proof of some stuff and shape shifting and some even caught some aliens in my photos in Germany.
Oh my God.
So,
German aliens. It says we got the Nazi secret space program and German alien shapeshifter. Did you have reptilians in there? No.
No, I've got plenty of photos where mine and my partner's eyes are reptile vertical pupils.
I'm a wee bit unsure about that because a lot of the digital processing in things, eyes and pupils, that can muck up out the spherical aspect of an eye. But who knows? You may be a reptilian. Potentially, is that right? Yeah.
Well, apparently my soul matrix is a winged serpent, so maybe a reptilian or a positive Draco apparently, and so's my partner. She's my twin flame, but we both incarnated here.
Oh, okay. Is this just a load of new age baloney that you're being fed to sort of put you on loony loopy loo land?
No, I don't think so. It resonates with me, and it's a real thing. I mean, my life does sound like a fictional movie script, but it's the real deal.
Well, that scar certainly looked real enough to me. So that's part 2. We'll deal with the secret alien spacecraft and the Nazis and whatever. We'll do that with later or shortly. We'll get part 1 up of your story, of your account. And all the best from reigning wet Wiltshire. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Miles.